So very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Siphumelele Zondi. Today in the program we'll tell you about Rage, which is Africa's biggest gaming expo. We'll have a discussion about a technology after-school program that helps children who live in central Johannesburg. We'll also tell you about how Technology Minister Naledi Pandor has been promoting Space Month in the Eastern Cape province. Facebook CEO and founder Mark Zuckerberg says there's no short-term plan to make money from WhatsApp. He says the core business is Facebook, and Twitter is taking government agencies to court in America for not allowing them to publicize which accounts are under surveillance. We are live. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. We're on News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your social media and technology news. Joburgers will have to wait longer for fiber optic cables that were to improve the network around the city. This is because the city of Johannesburg is in arbitration with the company that was tasked with that job. Be Wired is accused of failing to meet its obligations, and this has led to a dispute with the city.
In this promotional video, which is available online, Be Wired CEO Musangosi makes big promises. In partnership with Ericsson, they've been tasked with installing 1,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables around the city. Because of that promise, Be Wired, also known as City Connect, was given 1.2 billion rand by the city of Johannesburg. They are now accused of not meeting their contractual agreements, and the city of Johannesburg sent us an email saying the company is under mediation. In a telephone conversation, we asked Be Wired CEO Musangosi if he thinks his company will be dissolved or get absorbed by the city of Johannesburg. He told us those are some of the possibilities that will be cleared during the current mediation process.
Once the process has been completed, I'm sure parties will want to communicate their visions.
Mr. Nkosi also told us that he thinks the current process should be finalized around December.
South Africa's World Space Week closing event took place in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape yesterday. The conversation was on how the country's satellite production needs to be developed in order to improve human capital. Kayale Tukobo attended the ceremony.
Mthatha was alive with science activities this week. Thousands of learners were exposed to career opportunities in science and technology during the past week.
I studied science at high school, but I found it difficult to do experiments because of lack of resources.
Space Week is organized by the Department of Science and Technology, the National Research Foundation, and South African Agency for Science and Technology.
This event, I think, shows the kids what space is all about, because a lot of people don't even know what space is all about.
The practical experiences the learners took part in meant a great deal in understanding and developing their interest in science.
Science is fun. I learned much more things that I didn't know about.
The first thing I saw was a spacesuit. It was the first time I was seeing that.
Mandla Masego from Soshanguve near Pretoria was on hand to inspire them further. He ventures into space next year and is not scared.
Going to space, it might be scary, but seeing that I've done the G4 simulation, I think I can withstand the G's, so it's not scary.
But Space Week exposed the learners to the possibilities.
Your presence here and listening to us all will hopefully stimulate your curiosity and your interest to come and study here, but more specifically, to come here and study science.
And Space Week will just not be Space Week without a rocket, a sight to behold and a first for most of the learners here.
The 3 days of Rage 2014 have ended. There's often so much to see and do there. Rage is Africa's biggest gaming expo. Network's Stile Khaswane takes us through what was there this weekend.
Gamers from all over the country came fired up for Rage 2014. From crime-busting heroes to menacing villains from beyond the grave.
We love Rage! Must have Rage!
This year's edition had some of the usual suspects, such as the Xbox One, which recently launched in the country. Some new additions saw Rage rise to new heights, such as this micro-drone that enables everyday aerial filming. Wizardry also left some fans spellbound. But ultimately, Rage is all about gaming, and there was not a shortage in this regard.
Gaming is good. It brings the kids into a good, actually keeps them intact, and they don't go out of grade. They're actually all together.
Well, since the world is moving forward so far, it's fast in technology, well, we don't want to be left behind.
So Rage also showcases anime?
Yes, it shows anime, manga, comic books, superheroes, Marvel heroes, everything.
The 12th edition of Rage proved why the expo is a highlight on every social gamers events calendar.
Every single stand is different from the year before. We never ever have the same games, the same technology, the same toys, the same anything on the show. And that's why people love coming here, because every single year there's always something completely different.
Local gaming developers also had a chance to showcase their work. This with the hope that someday the majority of the games on offer here at Rage will be local.
This year's Rage was more than just a gaming expo. 3D printers and cloud computing were some of the first-time vendors this year. Producer Lebose Jage tells us about what she saw when she was there.
Here on Network, we've told you how people will in the near future be able to print edible food using 3D printers. That printer was on show at this year's Rage Expo at the Coca-Cola Dome in Northgate, Johannesburg.
Now we've got machines that are using bases like sugar and chocolate powder and using that to print by just printing layers of water or syrup onto the powder base and creating fantastic edible 3D food.
This was the 3D printer's first time at the Consumer Expo. It's an addition that proved exciting for those who are not video or computer game fanatics.
We've got 3D printers here. That seems to be another thing that's popped up on the radar.
These 3D printers aren't just for big organizations anymore.
It's always been something used by big companies for prototyping and engineering and so on. It's now gone to the phase where we've got entry-level printers which people can buy for home use, for messing around, for playing, for creating toys, for hobbies and so on.
The computer was also first used in big companies, and now almost every household has one.
For the third year running, Bytes Orbit is calling for submission for the Startup Nights competition. The purpose of the competition is to support and embrace tech startups in South Africa. The total prize money of 150,000 Rand is up for grabs. Entries close on October 26.
We take special care to work with the winning startup so that they are mentored and they progress through a life cycle. And we do this by investing in them. So we put out a call for entries, which lasts about 6 weeks, and we get a variety of entries coming in. And the competition runs in 2 divisions. We have startups and we have concepts. So on the startup side, we have a criteria that we look for. There's a variety of things, and we measure the strength of the startup. Concepts anybody can submit. I mean, you can imagine a house mom who suddenly thinks of an app of how to distribute pocket money more efficiently to her children. There could be a stunning app, and we choose 8 finalists who we invite over to our offices for a mentoring session by some of the best tech entrepreneurs in the country. And then we have a judging panel who will judge the pitches on the day after.
The Tech for Africa end-of-year conference took place at the Saibono Discovery Center in Newtown, Johannesburg. Tech for Africa gives techpreneurs and developers from the continent a platform to speak and share ideas. The list of the speakers included former 5FM presenter Gareth Cliff, who spoke about his latest digital radio project, Cliff Central. A 500 Rand smartphone was also showed off. The conference says affordable smartphones could be created by Africans. Johannesburg was the end of this year's Tech for Africa conferences, which have taken place in Lagos in Nigeria, Nairobi in Kenya, and Cape Town. And after the break, we'll chat about pre-teens and teenagers who call themselves computer programmers. We are on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter.
You can't have a gut feeling about other people's gut feeling.
Ngaba has continued the tradition of passing stories onto the next generation using a platform that offers stories to a far more greater audience.
Zombie no go unless you tell them to go.
This is what the audiences all over the world knew Fela Kuti for.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT.
It's SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter News Network at sabc.co.za. Recently, we met up with children who spend their afternoons and weekends in the Saibono Clubhouse in Newtown in Johannesburg. They get to create whenever they're there. Saibono in central Johannesburg is not just a science museum. These kids call themselves developers, web designers and animators.
You can create applications that you want. You can also create websites.
11-year-old Sfiso Nkabinde and other children who live in the Johannesburg city centre gain these skills from the Saibono Clubhouse, a place they visit after school. Saibono also helped 15-year-old Perfect Zikali attend a program in the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology in America.
Had all the clubhouses from around the world to meet up and collaborate with each other.
And for those not interested in digital spaces, there are arts programs as well, which Emihle Sobutula loves. With the skills they get here, many of the kids will be able to gain university entry, find employment, or even start their own businesses, something that will help in reducing South Africa's high unemployment rate. Yondela Madwele recently turned 18. He says the clubhouse has helped him with his degree choice for next year. He's chosen to go into the fields of engineering.
It has helped me also to help the community as such, because I now see that it's not all about just me knowing. It's also me knowing and also applying it to the surrounding areas that are here.
And coordinator Madoti Nechikudini says this initiative does more than just give tech skills to the kids.
We'll come here at the afternoon and be exposed to those programs, whereas if you don't come to the clubhouse, some kids end up doing drugs, and then some kids end up stealing at the shops.
Now, the big struggle is to get more girls interested in such programs. And joining me in studio is Director of Teacher Development at Saibono, Anele Davids. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network tonight, Anele.
Good evening.
Now, how did the idea of the clubhouse start?
The idea of the clubhouse emanates from the MIT, which is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's a strange story. They had a robotics Lego League taking place at the Museum of Science based at MIT. And then two kids, after the sessions with the robotics, came back to check what was going on. And then the institutions decided to do something for those learners. So it is on that basis that they started the clubhouse.
I remember one of the kids saying that it's sort of like a miniature version of the MIT lab, is it?
We're trying to. The idea with the clubhouse is to provide all kids across the globe with access to technology. But it's not just about access, it's going beyond access. The key thing here is to get the kids to go into production of their ideas.
What do the kids get to do when they're there?
Typically, a kid would walk in there and they would determine what they like, and the mentors, which are based within the clubhouse, would then lead the kids to their areas of interest.
These areas of interest could be?
Could be music, it could be graphic design, it could be web development, it could be programming, it could be robotics. We also include visual arts, which is a critical part in creative arts.
Now, these are things that a lot of people could learn at university, or probably would learn at university. And these are 11 to 18-year-olds. Why did you decide to do this for 11 to 18-year-olds?
They have an interesting concept at MIT, regarding the clubhouse. They're calling it kindergarten. You're in kindergarten for life, basically. So it is not too early for these kids to be introduced to this concept.
I suppose when they leave there, they have skills, like some of them are already calling themselves developers. I suppose that those skills can help them in life as well.
We must admit that we're also surprised by, how these kids quickly pick up these particular skills. I mean, they had already developed some things for us within the organization. They developed some websites. They develop some club cards, when we have, for example, sessions for kids, orphanages who are coming to us. These kids would develop things for those sessions. So these are critical skills which these kids would need after they have left school. But what is also important, sorry to interrupt, what is also important is that what they learn inside the clubhouse actually assists the learning process within the schooling.
Has funding been easier to come about?
We are fortunate in that the open-mindedness of Dell Foundation, enables us to do whatever we want. They are our key equipment sponsor. And on top of that, they provide us the necessary funding to do some of the things we'd like to do.
Now, you mentioned something critical, that girls, you're struggling to attract girls into the clubhouse. Why do you think that is?
Could be a number of things. I think the main one is around the social issues in our country. I think parents find it very difficult to allow kids or girl kids to just go to clubhouses in the afternoons because of security reasons. But also it has more to do with the interests of girls. We're still studying, what is it really that is preventing girls in doing IT?
Annette Davids from Saibono Clubhouse, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
You're welcome.
Now, when we return, we'll talk about video on demand that is gaining popularity or seemingly gaining popularity in South Africa. We are on a news network at sabc.co.za on email.
Zoom into Africa. This is Mozambique. The president is Mr. Armando Guebuza. Mozambique got independent from Portugal on 25 June in 1975. The population is more than 24 million people. One of the major languages spoken is Portuguese. Monetary unit is the metical.
Welcome back. We're still on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. Now, South Africa's video on demand space is getting really interesting. LTech has launched its node. The Times Media Group has made its VD free for now. We know that in America, there are shows that were specifically developed for Netflix. This means that one doesn't need a television set to watch good programming. Is this the end of television as we know it? To talk about this, we are joined by Stephen Ambrose from Strategy Works. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network.
Always a pleasure.
In South Africa, is this the end of television as we know it?
No, unfortunately not. This is the beginning of a new phase of television, and we definitely are following international trends where people that are connected and have decent broadband at home are either downloading or streaming video on demand. And it's definitely becoming a huge, huge industry globally. It's small in this country, but it's always nice to see that a couple of forward-thinking companies are staking their ground and getting involved in the environment. What's interesting is Vidi is a true streaming service. Currently, you can't play it on Android and iPhones. There's no apps. You need Microsoft Silverlight in order to play it on a PC. And then you somehow got to connect your PC to a TV, because TVs are still the best way to watch shows because they're big. But the node system is actually very clever. They've got around the whole broadband issue by actually downloading movies from satellite onto a hard drive that sits in the node device itself. So it feels like you're streaming, but you're actually not streaming. You're playing the movies off the hard drive. But that being said, streaming DSTV has got a platform where you can stream movies directly. You can use all the catch-up movies onto your iPhone, onto your various iPads, tablets, doesn't matter which one. So streaming is definitely becoming a huge component of television, and on demand, the success of PVRs have shown that people like to have control over what they watch.
Let's talk specifically about VD now. Do you see a future for it as a streaming-only platform in South Africa? Is there a big future?
I think there is a future. I just think it's early days. I think give it enough time, give it enough investment, give it enough content, because that's key. As Netflix have discovered in the US, as they've scaled, is that content such as the unique products like Orange is the New Black, all the new product that's specifically made for that platform adds massive pull for people to sign up. The real challenge is that we need a very pervasive broadband environment, and it needs to be a fairly uncapped, fairly low-cost, high-bandwidth type environment, which is still not the case generally in South Africa. There are some suburbs that are well connected. Parkhurst is going fibre, Greenside and Parkview are following. Certain places have that option. But there are a couple of challenges. One, it's not that many people. Two, it's very expensive. So you can't stream something like video over a mobile connection, which just makes it far too expensive. It's cheaper then to take the whole family and go see the movie in a movie house. So I think it's early days, and I think it's really important that they're doing this.
Netflix, to interrupt you there, Netflix has said that they're not coming to South Africa for now. Do you see them coming to South Africa ever?
Not for the foreseeable future. The economics of Netflix in South Africa just don't make sense at this point. The Netflix model works on volume. They've got 40, 45 million subscribers in the US, couple of million, tens of millions around the world, and they're rolling out in territories like the UK where there's 50, 60 million people all connected to the internet at a fairly good rate. So my sense is never's a long time. We may see them sometime in the future, but I think the local companies like Vidi and DSTV have more chance of replicating that environment right here in South Africa than we're going to see. There's more chance of them being successful than we'll see someone like Netflix.
You've been trying them at home, Vidi and Node.
Yes.
What do you think of them?
I think Vidi is good. Unfortunately, the content is limited, and what you can play it on is limited, which is a challenge. But it's inexpensive, and the cost of the fairly new movies at 27 Rand for anybody, you don't have to subscribe to the service to watch the movie, is quite a good idea. Node, on the other hand, has a slightly better quality of product on the device itself, and it also does a lot more. It actually can give you internet in the home. You can set up a hotspot through a mobile connection and share it through your TV and to other users in the home. So I think the Node device is going a lot further than simple streaming, and they've seemed to have addressed a lot of the issues in the South African context in a more South African way, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. All right. Stephen Ambrose from Strategy Works, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
It's a
and shedding
pleasure.
some light on video on demand in South Africa.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. Now, let's take a look at what some have been sharing in social media. The hashtag Bafana is still one of the most trending topics in social media in South Africa. This is after their 2-0 win over Congo yesterday. The two were playing their first leg of an African Cup of Nations qualifier. Many who attended the Mangaung Cultural Festival or Makufe in Bloemfontein have been sharing their experiences. It seems fun was had by all who were there. And Africans have created the hashtag Africa is not a country to educate the world about where the Ebola outbreak is. This is after people were confusing regions in Africa. Africans thought they should let mostly Americans know that Ebola is concentrated in only a few countries in West Africa, with over 40 African nations clear of the Ebola virus. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. We're on News Network at sabc.co.za on email. We leave you with a YouTube video that's asking, can we autocorrect humanity? It has more than 4.5 million views there. From Ms. Phumelele Zondi and the rest of the network team, have a good one.
Let me express first, Mr. Zuckerberg, not to be rude, but you should reclassify Facebook to what it is, an anti-social network. Cause while we may have big friend lists, so many of us are friendless all alone. Cause friendships are more broken than the screens on our very phones. We sit at home on our computers measuring self-worth by numbers of followers and likes. Ignoring those who actually love us, it seems we'd rather write an angry post and talk to someone who might actually hug us. Am I bugging? You tell me, cause I asked a friend the other day, let's meet up face to face. They said, all right, what time you wanna Skype? I responded with OMG, SRS, and then a bunch of SMHs, and realized, what about me? Do I not have the patience to have conversation without abbreviation? This is the generation of media overstimulation. Chats have been reduced to snaps. The news is 140 characters. Videos are 6 seconds at high speed. And you wonder why ADD is on the rise faster than 4G LTE. But get a load of this. Studies show the attention span of the average adult today is 1 second lower than that of a goldfish. So if you're one of the few people or aquatic animals that have yet to click off or close this video, congratulations. Let me finish by saying you do have a choice, yes. But this one, my friends, we cannot autocorrect. We must do it ourselves. Take control or be controlled, make a decision. Me? No longer do I want to spoil a precious moment by recording it with a phone. I'm just gonna keep them. I don't want to take a picture of all my meals anymore. I'm just gonna eat them. I don't want the new app, the new software, or the new update. And if I want to post an old photo, who says I have to wait until Thursday? I'm so tired of performing in the pageantry of vanity and conforming to this accepted form of digital insanity. Call me crazy, but I imagine a world where we smile when we have low batteries. Cause that'll mean we'll be one bar closer to humanity.
Zoom into Africa. This is the Republic of Congo. The president is Mr. Denis Sassou Nguesso, got independent from France on 15th August in 1960. The population is more than 4 million people. One of the major languages spoken is French. Monetary unit is CFA.
South Africans survived 2014.
Many of us actually were given bursaries by state-owned enterprises, but the state shrunk, telecom was privatized, and now you are sitting with huge unemployed people, but huge backlogs in terms of infrastructure that could develop the same young people.
It's in our hands, and our future is up to us. It's a tough year, and tough decisions will have to be made by the government. It's an election year, which makes it difficult to make tough decisions. I mean, it's tough to make tough decisions. It's especially tough in an election year.
That's Rights and Recourse, Sundays 2 p.m. on SABC News.
This former breadbasket of Africa, playing host to SADC leaders.
I feel humbled and yet greatly honored at being appointed the chairman of SADC.
When I was a student, Harvard was only my visible college, my formal classes. But I was also a student in an invisible college.
The outbreak in West Africa is the world's deadliest to date. It's centered on Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, with cases also reported in Nigeria.
Catch news at 8, 7 days a week. Be informed.
Cameroon's economic capital, a unique art collection is on display. Titled Yesterday's Memory, Tomorrow's Memory.
We are trying to preserve this heritage despite many things that have changed in the designing, embroidery and the model.
If I'm telling you, you don't like it, I call it defeat.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT.